Hearken thine ears to hear a tale which speaketh of holiday merriment and such. Man, we just wanted to say Merry Christmas. I feel like that's doing too much. That language might come off as a little pretentious and fake, so can I keep it real for all of our sakes? Because speaking the gospel plainly at Grace Point is what we do. So can I speak to you about Christmas straight from the book of Luke, chapter 2? Cool. See, understand, biblical times weren't all that different. They had politicians and taxes. Caesar was calling for a census to raise revenue from the masses because it cost a lot to fight wars on multiple fronts, still win those fights, complicated by some outpost rebels claiming to be some prophesied Christ. So from Rome, the order was sounded. Every man to his hometown, show up, be counted. Now, it had been about 400 years since God had spoke to the Jews, and they said unaware they were on the eve of receiving the good news. Because humanity will be caught looking horizontally for answers that could only come vertically, eager to make a man God while God was busy becoming man by executing a pre-linear plan. Everything purposeful, nothing accidental or unintentional, everything building on everything, foretold and foreshadowing, prepping a fetus while they were seeking a king. This babe that was in the womb of the Virgin Mary was jamming up her plans because she was engaged to get married. This was not in Joseph's 5-year plan, yet they were faithful because they understood who they carried, the one Son of Man. So in the 9th month, they set off to fulfill their civic responsibilities. Every step they took waging war on Satan's unholy principalities. See, even while obeying oppressive men, they were still God's obedient servants because they were nurturing the offspring who would one day crush the head of that old serpent. 80 miles of bad road from Nazareth to Bethlehem, only to find out at the end there was no room for them in the end, which just really epitomizes the fact that Jesus was really never worried about trying to fit in. Yet, even amidst that chaos, they weren't tripping. They knew God would provide, for Elohim was forthcoming. Heaven and earth prepared to collide. His birthplace, not the neonatal unit at the Bethlehem Hospital. No, the healer of man. He would be born into the most unstable of environments, a livestock stable. At a time with an infant mortality rate of over 40%, even his first breath was framed with the fatal. And there he lay, the King of Kings, noticeably born of no means. Yet by no means was his birth unnoticed. For outside the city, a group of shepherds were protecting their livelihood. You know, night watch over the flock, making sure it stayed all good. These were brave men who at the sight of thieves or wolves would prepare for a fight. Yet as angels pierced the silence of night, they were afraid. God's heavenly messengers cloaked in his glorious light. They spoke to these men about God's most valuable treasure, his gift to mankind whose worth is beyond all known measure. They sang glory to God in the highest and peace on earth among those in whom he finds pleasure. They worshiped. A multitude of voices were raised. The skies were filled with heavenly praise because they knew those who believe on this Christ child would be saved. They worshiped. And before they left, they told these ranch hands where to go and what to expect. So when they rolled up on this stable, what you expect? You know what they saw. The way, the truth, the life wrapped in some blankies and laying on straw. This same child, 7 days later, taken to church and equipped with his name, Jesus. The Father in him, he and the Father both in the Spirit, three in the same. And that is the reason for this season and all this celebration, the larger story of God's creation, our fall, redemption, and restoration. So we hope you're able to grab a hold of what's been presented, the richness of depth of what is intended when we speak the simple phrase to you, Merry Christmas.